historian, biographer, lawyer, politician, journalist, would-be aristocrat. For much of his life, Washington Irving struggled to clearly define his own identity and purpose, not unlike the burgeoning new America in which he lived. But through his unique perspective, living what he might have called a half-itinerant life, Washington Irving became uniquely qualified to serve as America's first author. During Irving's lifetime, the young America stood at a significant crossroads. Industrious city dwellers vied against agrarian farmers to establish the social order. The university-educated aristocrat and the self-educated everyman mutually distrusted one another. Hamilton's Federalists wrestled Jefferson's Republicans for political control of the great experiment itself. Like his namesake, General George Washington, Irving generally stood above, or at least apart, from the fray, being genuinely more interested in the people than their politics. Born in 1783, Washington Irving came into the world the very year America gained true independence from England by signing the peace treaty that ended the Revolutionary War. Irving was part of the new generation, one that would only know America's struggle for independence as a history lesson or a ghost story. The Founding Fathers fought for America's freedom. Irving's generation had to decide what to do with it. Jefferson's ideal everyman was not yet afforded every opportunity, so it was lucky that Irving was born into a relatively wealthy merchant family, with well-connected parents, friends in high places, and doting older brothers. William and Peter Irving included the younger Washington in all of their hobnobbing with the well-to-do of New York City. In these circles, Irving learned the art of politics and heard firsthand the intense debates concerning the practice of democracy and freedom in America. With such an upbringing, the young Washington inevitably fell into studying law. Under the mentorship of Alexander Hamilton and Aaron Burr, Irving assisted in some of the most high-profile court cases of the day, but often found he was much more effective at writing witty campaign articles for New York politicians than preparing legal summaries for disinterested judges. However, the contemptuous and even deadly partisanship between his Federalist and Jeffersonian friends left Irving disenchanted with American politics. Irving biographer Andrew Burstein explains,
"As a popular figure in New York politics, Burr found himself caught up in several whisper campaigns, more often than not initiated by the talented but jealous and ungracious Alexander Hamilton. Burr turned the other cheek, with rare exception, and made little attempt to fight back until 1804, when Hamilton's mouth precipitated their famous duel. Burr would suffer worse press after killing Hamilton, of course, and everything unraveled from there."
In a letter to his older brother William, Washington lamented,
"Whatever may have been the circumstances of the duel, I am satisfied they have been honorable on both sides, and the affair should have been treated with delicacy and suffered to sink into silence. The manner in which it has been prosecuted is a melancholy proof to what a rancorous height political animosities are attaining in our country."
Washington wrote from Europe, where his brothers had lovingly exiled him in hopes that travel by sea and the old world air would improve his health, but also his faith in America. Irving was beginning to understand the American promise, especially when it could be so easily compared with European alternatives.
"I shall, I think, never complain against government when I return to America. My fellow countrymen do not know the blessings they enjoy."
As Burstein quips, the year in Europe caused Irving to relish his Americanness. In a journal entry, a more experienced Irving writes,
"While Europe is wasting its strength in perpetual commotions, the United States, blessed with profound peace and an excellent government, is gaining daily accesses of wealth and power, and rising by tranquil yet rapid degrees to take the most conspicuous seat among the nations."
Irving's thoughts reflected the challenges and vast expectations faced by the rising American generation. The birth of America produced unusual circumstances, giving Americans unprecedented freedoms and leaving them with very little national history to learn from and exemplify. Haunted by a European past and spellbound by a promising future, Irving realized that America's greatest strength and best hope sprang directly from her ability to choose her own destiny. And he wisely recognized the heavy responsibility that comes with such freedom. During this defining hour, Irving created the legend of Sleepy Hollow. His American Gothic depicts the itinerant schoolmaster, Ichabod Crane, whose greedy and insatiable appetite ultimately ends in a terrifying chase from a specter on horseback, a figure without a head. Irving's message was clear: you reap what you have sown. And it struck a chord with the public. American readers responded enthusiastically, perhaps knowing that they too must choose wisely to avoid becoming as dark and soulless as the Headless Horseman, or as humiliated and hopeless as the hapless Ichabod. The legend was equally successful among European readers, a testament to Irving's remarkable ability as an author. Henry Wadsworth Longfellow, speaking after Irving's death in 1859, said of his friend,
"We feel a just pride in his renown as an author, having been the first to win for our country an honorable name and position in the history of letters."
2 centuries later, America continues to confront challenging crossroads. Advancing technologies and globalization flood the world with information and increase the pressure for social and political change. Surrounded by bitterly opposing parties at home and perpetual commotions abroad, the modern American public may feel as disappointed and disenchanted as the young Irving. Though less familiar with Irving's original story, his timeless lesson still resonates in the American heart. Greedy appetites can devour freedom. Careless immorality can destroy dignity. Rampant pride can desolate the soul. And irrational fear can decapitate common sense. But the author's greatest lesson is one of hope. Like the distant voice of Ichabod Crane, still sometimes heard by the loitering plowboy in Sleepy Hollow, Irving's voice echoes across the centuries to remind us that we will reap what we sow. Irving's enduring story encourages America to individually and collectively choose to rise above the din of the world, recognize an ever bright and shining potential, and sow a fate worthy of veneration.